What's up, everybody? Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, wherever you're seeing this. Good morning, good evening. It's good to be here again and share something with y'all. I was actually thinking about this. I've been thinking about this topic for a long time, and it is about the term toxic masculinity. The funny thing about this term is it doesn't exist. Now, rock with me for a minute. I'll explain what I mean. So, masculinity is an energy, just like femininity is. Although you never hear the term toxic femininity. I wonder why. But these two energies everybody has to a greater or lesser degree. So later on you'll hear me say your lesser essence or your lesser nature, and it doesn't mean that it's any way less important than your primary essence. So masculinity, by definition, is a positive trait. It's something that is about drive and ambition and goals and penetrating through to the truth. It's about all those things. It's about that stuff. But what people call toxic masculinity isn't masculinity at all. If you understand masculinity and what it does, then you know that the shifty, hyper reactive, the person that's just like all over the place, he's going off about his girl and all of this kind of stuff, that's not masculinity. It's just not. What it actually is femininity. You see, feminine energy is about being able to shift from one emotion to the other, to be able to take in all of these emotions that you might feel, to make smaller things bigger. That's what feminine energy does, and it's a good thing in the right proportion. Men have femininity too, but here's what happens. In a masculine man, if he becomes fearful or there's some type of stressor in his life, he may resort to his lesser nature and fall into the pit of his lesser nature. It's weird, but what happens is it feels comfortable to be in that. Happens to women too. Women feel more comfortable and protected in their masculine, their lesser essence, to escape their larger essence. In a way, it's like hiding. You know, if you're going through a tough time and you don't want anybody to see you cry, or you don't want to see them you don't want them to see you going through a tough time, then you shrink yourself down, you hide yourself. Same thing happens with these two energies. So let's take a scenario. I was briefly talking about the man that is, responding to some stimulus about his woman, right? In this case, he feels challenged, maybe afraid of a few things. He might be afraid that she'll leave with the other guy, or that the other guy might hurt her, or that she'll leave of her own accord, or they just got in a fight earlier and he's just feeling like he's not enough. And so all of these things culminate into him going down into his lesser nature to feel protected. But it's femininity. And anytime someone uses their lesser nature to a large degree, whatever that large degree is, they become tired. And as it becomes tired, as that energy becomes tired, as that person becomes tired, it becomes toxic. because they can't keep it up long term. So it's as simple as that. If you have a man that you think is being toxic and using masculinity, check these facts. Is he driven and focused on what it is that he should be focused on? Because masculinity is about mission. It's about purpose. It's about drive. It's about going for what it is that you want. Is all of that reaction getting him what he wants? Or is it driving him away from the thing that he ultimately wanted? And I would guess, if you're on this channel, if you're listening to this video, you're an astute person. You know that it's the latter. So there is no such thing as toxic masculinity. What we call toxic masculinity is actually an adulterated version of femininity. Now that I've, talked about toxic masculinity, let's talk about what the culture would probably call toxic femininity, because that would be the oxymoron too. Femininity is not weak. It is simply a different energy. It seems like it comes from another world because we base this world off of logic, but femininity isn't logical, and it's not supposed to be. It's supposed to flow from one emotion to the next. It's supposed to be easier for feminine energy to connect to other people. That's the natural order of things. And so, same thing happens with a woman. She becomes fearful about anything, stressed, sad, whatever, and goes into her lesser nature, which is masculine, if she's a feminine woman. So she goes into her feminine. She stays there way too long, which, I don't know how long is too long for, for you or for any other person. For myself, if I'm in my lesser nature, then, it's something like an hour or so, or sporadic points of time. It's not the entirety of the day. And what's happening is women are getting into these positions where it's the entirety of the day. It's the entirety of the week. They feel like they live there, and they don't live there. And so it causes stress, it causes anguish, it causes all this stuff. But it's because they're in their masculine. It's because they're in their lesser essence. And so a woman, a feminine woman, using her masculine essence all day, every day, is going to have a drive and ambition that is skewed. She's going to use it for herself. She's gonna run over everybody else, and it's not going to be good for anybody, not even herself. And I see that play out every single day. And it's sad. But I want to say to you, if you are listening to this video, take what I'm saying as love. Take what I'm saying as education in something that might not have been so readily available. I feel that we have been duped by society sometimes, because society teaches men to be women and women to be men. I know that the intent was positive. The intent, especially back in the 80s with, third wave feminism and all of this stuff, I know that the intent was to get men to be more caring, but in that they destroyed their idea of masculinity. And so we come up with this term 20, 30 years later of toxic masculinity. And it's not that. It's not that. So keep in mind, whenever you think that somebody's being toxic, which of these energies are they using? Which are they able to deal with more effectively or most effectively. Odds are, if they are harsh, if they are unloving, unkind, if they are stressed, frustrated, sad, depressed, whatever, they may be in these other energies. And it happens a lot. If you look around, if you look at people you know, if you look at people you work with, you will see this pop up all the time. Keep your head on the swivel and you'll definitely see it. But that's all I got for today. If you got any questions, leave them in the comments. If you got comments, leave them in the comments. Like this video, and if you like content like this, where I come to you with real stuff and give you what the real situations and real happenings are, then subscribe. And with that, I'll talk to you guys later.